to eliminate millions of stray dogs. These are the headlines that I see all over social media, all over YouTube, and all over the place. And I tell you, I cannot really explain how much this hurts me because I've seen it coming for so many years. Many of you know, but many of you don't. But I started rescuing animals in Turkey. This is where this organization began already, I don't know, more than 18 years ago. A long time. I don't know, it feels like so long ago. When I was there, that's how everything started. I was there, I was doing business, and I started seeing cats and dogs all over the place. There were many dogs living on the streets. Many dogs were very healthy, very good looking and everything, but there were many dogs that were run over by cars and stuff like that. So that's how we started. We started rescuing those animals that had been injured, that were living on the streets and had been injured. So this organization started rescuing the stray dogs of Turkey. That is where I learned everything I know about dog rescue and about cat rescue, and dare I say about animals, because before, I had dogs all my life, but they were not part of my daily life like they were when I went to Turkey. So it was unbelievable. Now, let me explain you about this law that they just passed. There's a law that just passed by the government, by Prime Minister Erdogan or President Erdogan, basically the guy in charge for so many years, that I think with a bit of luck he'll be out of a job very soon, but not yet. Anyway, President Erdogan signed this law, very proud, saying that we're going to solve the stray dog problem. Well, it turns out that Turkey has had stray problems for many, many years. Over 150, maybe 200, 250 years. They've been around forever. Why are there so many stray dogs in Turkey, you may say? What happened? Why are there so many in the streets? Well, many of those dogs, the vast majority of them, were born on the streets. They've been there for generations and generations. They've had a place in the cities, not only in Istanbul, but in Ankara, in Konya, everywhere. They've had a place in society. Turkish people have accepted them as one of their own by living on the streets. There are many reasons why there is a reluctance of Turkish people to accept dogs inside their homes. One of them is a religious one. There are many religious people in Turkey who believe dogs are haram, dirty, impure, unclean, and they will not bring them home. But they're very happy having them on the streets, and they feed them and they care for them, and whenever they're injured they take them to the vet. This is why you see so many fat dogs on the streets of Istanbul. They're cared for, they're cherished, they are beloved. There are people that have grown with their stray dogs in the park. When they were kids, they used to go to the park and there was this dog there, and they've grown with them. Everybody knows his stray dogs. So when I was in Turkey, I noticed something. Why there were so many stray dogs? There had to be something we could do. Turkish society really wasn't doing much. They were just taking care of them on the streets. There were some shelters. There were a lot of shelters, but they were the worst excuse of a shelter I have ever seen. In Istanbul alone, about 12 years ago, which was the last time I went there were, I don't know, maybe 10 shelters, and every shelter had over 2,000, maybe 3,000 dogs. They were huge places with huge amount of dogs chained there and imprisoned there for life. Whenever a dog went to a shelter, very rarely ever left. Rarely. There was no adoption and there was no effort in finding them homes. These places became just prisons, and dogs were there for life. Sometimes we managed to get some of them out of the shelters, find them homes in Germany, but there is no culture of adoption in Turkey, or at least there wasn't. We fought for this culture to begin. We fought for people to start, adopting dogs, and we had some very good successes. The animal rescue community began growing and becoming more and more organized. Now, in these shelters, there were real atrocities happening. Really, if you look to my older videos, you will see some things that beggar belief. That those were Turkish shelters. There was a solution for this. I wouldn't say a simple one, but it was a very logical one, which was neuter and release, trap, neuter and return. The concept is that the stray dogs are occupying a biological niche. They have their own place in that area, and because dogs are territorial, they defend their own area. So if you manage to sterilize, to neuter all the dogs on the streets, they will be kept in the same place, fed by locals, understood and cherished and cared for until they died natural causes, natural lives. And that, if you extended the whole thing to the whole country, it will mean there will be no more stray dogs. Of course, that's the logic. The reality was very different, because this program, instead of being organized as a military operation, precise, every municipality, all of them at the same time, it was left to the municipalities to implement it on their own. And many of them, they didn't want to do that. They couldn't care. So what they did was they used to round up dogs. They used to throw them in the forest of Istanbul. There are thousands and thousands of dogs in all the forests around. They used to hand dogs. It was normal to find 30 or 40 dogs laid down, all of them being shot. Nano, please. I'm going to send you to Turkey if you don't shut up. That's Nano. So, sorry. So there was no application of the law. And that was actually by law. Trap, neuter, and return. But nobody cared. They didn't apply it properly. And we kept on lobbying. We kept on insisting, you have to do it. If you don't do it now, eventually there will be too many dogs and life will be very difficult. Well, they didn't do it. So what municipalities will do is they will round up their dogs, they will put them in trucks, and they will dump them in other municipalities. So suddenly one municipality will have no dogs, another municipality will have tons of them, but what will happen with the one that was empty? The dogs will start breeding again, will reproduce, and there will be more and more and more. So now there is an estimate 4 million dogs on the streets of Turkey. 4 million. In a country of 80 million. It's a lot of dogs. It's a lot of dogs. Now, the vast majority of these dogs are super nice, super kind. The best dogs in the world is the Turkish stray dog. It's unbelievable because they're so social. They're used to people, they're used to other dogs. They're really wonderful. But they create a lot of problems. They create problems with traffic. There are a lot of them that get run over by cars. When there is a traffic accident, very often there are humans being injured. What happened? What happened, Linda? Linda, please. If you excuse me. Linda, ya, por favor. Ven. Sorry, dog politics. So dogs started creating problems. And then there is the issue of rabies. Now, when I was living in Turkey, there was always a constant scare of rabies. Kuduz is the name in Turkish. And everybody was really scared of rabies. Now, in all the years I was there, I never saw a single case. It just didn't happen. Maybe I was lucky, but I never saw it. But I saw cases of something called encephalitis. And encephalitis has very similar symptoms to rabies. What will happen? whenever there was a case of encephalitis, a municipality will use it as an excuse and they will start killing dogs left, right, and center. So rabies has always been a political tool at the hands of the government. It's always been an excuse to kill stray dogs, an excuse to create this breathing cauldron of rejection that in the end has turned into a law that says, gives them free rein to do whatever they want. Now, the law says that all these dogs are going to be rounded up and they're going to be taken to shelters. They're going to build huge shelters where they're all going to be put there, and the ones that are sick or are aggressive, they're going to be euthanized, and then the other ones are going to be kept for a few days until they find homes. If they don't find homes, they're going to be euthanized. Now, based on my experience of Turkey, of the people in the government, of the people in municipalities, of civil servants, it is going to be an absolute mess. It's going to be crazy. Their intended motive of getting dogs off the streets is going to fail. They will kill a lot of dogs, for sure. They will find zero homes. I mean, I think in the whole of Turkey, there were 350 adoptions last year. 350, and this year 150, 130 something. Really very little. Nothing that can tackle the massive problem that they have in their hands. And they will kill all of them. However, there is something else that is going to happen. There's going to be unrest in the streets, big time, because the vast majority of Turkish people are animal lovers, because the vast majority of them have positive interactions with dogs. Nobody wants these dogs to die. Nobody wants these dogs to die. They don't want, and they also know that the shelters are shit. Sorry. Shit. So there's going to be demonstrations. There's going to be social unrest, and it's going to be a mess. A mess. There are some that says that this is going to be used by the government as a way to implement political retribution, or there will be something. It will be used politically for sure. Don't forget that the base of voters of the current government are people that, because of religious reasons, don't really like dogs. They wanna keep them away. So it's a mess. It's a mess, and it's incredible that a country like Turkey, with so much potential, with so many brilliant people, with an economy that offers so much and is strategically positioned in the world, suddenly the main issue in this country, the main contentious issues, and everyone is going to be talking about it for months and years to come, are going to be stray dogs. Incredible. In the last century, actually no, it was before that. In the 1900s, 1910 or something like this, the sultans at some point became fed up with the dogs. Some people complained, and they had this idea. They round up all the dogs, they put them in boats, and they dumped them in a nearby island that was completely desert. There was nothing there. There were no people, there was no water, no food, nothing. It was a rock, and they put in that rock thousands and thousands of dogs. And they left them there as a solution. So people still talk about, the island was called Hayir, and people still talk about that incident because they say that they could hear the howls and the screams and the barks of the dogs abandoned in the island for weeks, until little by little they heard less and less and less, and there was no more. Thousands of dogs died in that place. That was the equivalent of what they're planning to do today. Removing dogs from their environment is never going to work, because life will prevail. And there will be some puppies born somewhere there, and there will be summer season and spring season, there will be more puppies, and eventually they will reproduce, and the problem will continue growing. The only way to solve it is through catching, neutering, and placing them in the same place, and then be patient. But Turkish government, patience? No, they're not gonna be patient for that. They only have patience to install, to do their political machinations. For that they have a very long-term view. But to solve the dog issue, they want to do it quickly. But it's never gonna happen. It's gonna fail. Turkish animal people are the best rescuers I know. They are the most committed. They are the most vocal. Over here in Spain, I couldn't get, we have a massive group. We have 700,000 people on YouTube and another 700,000 on Facebook, and millions of people. We speak to millions of people. I wouldn't be able to, in Spain, I wouldn't be able to organize 30 people on the streets. We are past that. We're okay with clicking and sharing, but nobody's gonna go to the streets to protest. In Turkey? Oh yeah, absolutely. Once I organized a demonstration with 30,000 people there, and we were much smaller. 30,000 people that went to the street to protest about the killing of some dogs in a shelter. There were pictures, there were video, it was a scandal. I remember when I was there, again, society raised big storm because some video cameras caught somebody killing a cat, a street cat. It was hit with and it was caught on camera. Wow, I tell you, wow, that guy had to leave town because he was gonna be lynched by a mob. Unbelievable. It was really big. So, I'm sure my Turkish friends are gonna fight. I'm sure my friends are gonna fight. They're gonna put these stray dogs in safe places. Many of them are gonna take many dogs off the streets. Others will build private shelters. The animal rescue community will be re-energized, big time. I'm actually gonna talk this afternoon with some of my friends there to see what they're doing and see how we can help. And you know what? In the end, the whole thing is gonna fail. There will be many dogs killed, for sure. But maybe, if the Turkish community raises up and creates a big fuss and protests, and this continues, eventually the government is gonna say, well, okay, maybe it was a bad idea. Maybe we can backtrack. Because that happens sometimes as well. Hello, Sergi Yilmaz. Türkiye. Nasılsınız? So, we're gonna be helping in any way we can. Until very recently, until years ago, actually, we used to rescue Turkish street dogs. My dog is barking so much. It's not gonna let me speak. Can you give me 1 minute, please? 1 second. Sorry, I'm back. I'm back with this. What am I gonna do with you? So, Turkey. There's gonna be big fight, and we're gonna help as much as we can. That I assure you. And you now, silent? Complete silence. Look at this. Hello. Hello, Turkey. So as I said, after the video is over, I'm gonna talk to my Turkish friends. I'm gonna see how they are organizing themselves. I'm gonna see what kind of demonstrations they are organizing. There are ways to fight this in courts. The opposition party, the main opposition party that last year was very close to defeating Erdogan, has vowed for this not to happen. So, I mean, I guess there you have it. If you're in Turkey, just don't vote Erdogan anymore, if dogs matter to you a little bit. As for us doing something, I think the best we can do at this stage is to share the news, share this video. There's a great article on the New York Times. If you Google Turkish street dogs, New York Times, there's a great article. There's a great article in The Guardian. It's covered all over the place. Big newspapers are talking about. There are lots of videos, and actually, I can't believe that I'm so late to this, because I'm so close to Turkey. This thing is so close to my heart. That's where everything began. I have absolutely no faith in the government doing anything good for the dogs of Turkey. They are incapable. The shelters, the way they run the whole thing, the vets working in the shelters, it was all just absolutely horrible. We uncovered mass graves of dogs buried after some poisoning campaign. And I'm sure this thing continues. These things are not things of the past. It's always gonna be like this. Unless society changes, unless there is a change in government, and they decide to do what they were supposed to do 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when the previous law was passed. But they did nothing. Nothing. Okay. So guys, share this video, look up the issue, Google Turkish street dogs. You will see what is being written in press. It's completely right, it's true, just share it. It's unbelievable, but it's true. Turkey is a beautiful country, full of beautiful people, full of beautiful street dogs. Every once in a while there is a viral story about this Turkish dog going and catching the metro. I remember a few years ago, there was a story about a dog that used to travel around the city by metro, used to get his metro, go, leave somewhere. Oh, I want to go somewhere else, catch the metro and go. Unbelievable. Yeah. So, if you are in Turkey, well, you know how to fight. And if you are outside, just share this video, share the news about the issue, and I think in a few days, I will be able to give you some more concrete actions and things that we can do. Okay? I'm not gonna forget about this. There's a lot at stake. And now it's dogs. But there will be cats. At some point, they will go after the cats as well. Why not? Well, they don't have such a big issue with cats. You see, because the Prophet apparently liked cats. So cats, I don't know. They are more tolerated even than dogs. Anyway, so crazy. All right, okay, we gotta go. Lots of love. And we'll see you tomorrow. It's gonna be a great video tomorrow. So look for Turkish rescuers, Turkish animal rescue groups on TikTok, on Instagram. There are many, there are great people, and get involved, okay? We'll get involved as well. Linda, thank you very much. Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. Thanks to all of you. Susan, glad to have you here. This is Linda, remember? I adopted her because she had terminal cancer. Well, so here she is. Not so terminal after all. She's having a great time. She's annoying as hell with that bark. Whenever she opens her mouth, the whole thing crumbles. But look, complete silence. Anyway, okay, gotta go. See you tomorrow. Take care. Annoying as hell. Yes. What? You wanna? Okay, wait. Say goodbye. Come on, Lina. Come on. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. The government has to change. Turkish government has to change. But these guys are clinging to power like they will never let go. But they're about to leave. You'll see very soon. Okay, gotta go. Bye bye. I will not go to Turkey until there is a new government. I'm sure this one doesn't like me very much. Bye.